All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to tackle a concept that honestly sounds completely backward. It's this idea that understanding, the very thing we're all trying to achieve, can actually be a problem. That's right. We are talking about the perils of having way too much understanding.
So, I've been working on this report for the Galactic Archives with my research partner Zorp. And Zorp, it sounds like you've hit a wall with the main idea here. What's up?
Alex, my report is stalled. The premise, understanding can be a peril, registers as a logical contradiction. On my world, understanding is the ultimate virtue. This does not compute.
Zorp, that is the perfect place for us to start. See, here on Earth, we value understanding too, a lot. But we've learned the hard way that pretty much any virtue, if you take it to an extreme, can flip and become a real problem. Let me show you what I mean.
It really all boils down to what I like to call the understanding paradox. Just think about it this way. Any strength, if you overuse it, it just becomes a weakness, right? Courage, if you push it too far, becomes recklessness. Being cautious can turn into being a coward. And that relentless drive to understand everything, well, that can just get in the way of, everything.
And this right here is the heart of it all. The goal isn't always to break an experience down into its tiny little parts just so you can say you understand it. Sometimes the whole point is just to live it, to feel it, to be present with the whole thing. If you're always digging and digging, you might just miss the actual experience you came for.
Okay, so let's move on to our first really concrete example of this peril in action. This is a super common human trap. We have a name for it: analysis paralysis.
Paralysis, from analysis, provide a data-driven example of this phenomenon. All right, Zorp, here's a classic for you. Imagine you want to watch what we call a movie. Now you have instant access to literally thousands of them, so you spend the next 2 hours gathering data. You're reading reviews, comparing ratings, watching trailers. You're basically trying to calculate the absolute perfect choice. And by the time you're done, it's too late to watch anything. You understood every single one of your options, but you experienced nothing. You were paralyzed by your own analysis.
And you see this pop up everywhere in human life. I mean, from little things like trying to pick a restaurant for dinner to huge, life-altering decisions. We get so wrapped up in trying to understand every possible outcome that we just never take the first step. That quest for perfect understanding completely prevents any action at all.
So the peril is simply inefficiency? A failure to execute a task in a timely manner? See, it's more than just inefficiency, Zorp. Sometimes trying to understand something doesn't just stall the experience, it completely ruins it. Which brings us to a concept I like to call the joke killer.
We have a great saying for this. Think about it. The whole point of a frog is for it to be alive, right? And the whole point of a joke is to make you laugh. If you cut either one of them open to understand how the internal mechanics work, you completely destroy the one thing that made it valuable in the first place.
Let me just walk you through how this works. Okay, so a human tells a joke. The other humans laugh. It's a great moment. But what if one of them, instead of laughing, just stops everything and asks, hang on, can you explain the precise sociolinguistic reason for that punchline's effectiveness? I mean, by the time you've analyzed the structure and the context, the spark is totally gone. The laughter, the delight, the entire point of the joke, it's just vanished. You understood it, sure, but you also killed it.
The operational goal was not data acquisition. It was emotional response. The purpose of some inputs is simply to be experienced. Exactly, Zorp. Yes, you just discovered what we might call the art of not knowing. It's all about making a conscious choice to experience something instead of just trying to explain it away.
So let's look at this comparison here. On one side, you've got deconstruction, logic, focusing on the why. That's the analysis mode. But on the other side, you've got immersion, intuition, and focusing on the what, the experience itself. One is about knowing about a thing, and the other is about being with it. And look, neither one is better than the other. They're just different tools for different jobs. You don't use a microscope to admire a beautiful sunset.
The logical conclusion, then, is to cease all analytical thought, to abandon understanding? Oh no, of course not, Zorp. That would be just as bad, just in the other direction. The goal is not to abandon understanding, it's to find a balance. It's about getting smart enough to know when to use the right tool for the job.
Think of it like this toolkit here. A full, rich life requires all of these things. You absolutely need analysis to solve problems and plan for the future, no question. But you also need intuition and pure experience. And yeah, sometimes just accepting that you don't need to understand every little thing. The real key is to not get stuck using just one tool, like a hammer, for every single job you come across. And this right here, this is the main takeaway for your report, Zorp. Real wisdom isn't just about piling up more and more facts. It's not about deconstructing every single moment of your life. It's about developing that gut feeling, that instinct, to know when your analysis has done its job and when it's time to put the tools down and just live.
So I'll leave you and you too, Zorb, for the report with one final question to think about. Whether it's about art or relationships or just enjoying a really good meal, where in your life are you busy analyzing when you could be experiencing? Where could a little less understanding actually lead to a lot more living? It's something to think about.